call the meeting to order. This is the Newbury HR Board Subcommittee classification for a new position. Here in the meeting today are
Diane Doyle,
Mark Kleckman,
Anthony Antico,
Lynn Peabody,
Patty Fisher.
thank you all, and joining us today is the hiring manager for this position, Chief Evans of the Fire Department. Chief, why don't we just take a moment and ask you to give us the 2-minute tour of what you're hoping to accomplish with this position. You don't need to get into tremendous depth. We'll get into that as we go along. But what's the thought process behind the position?
So the thought process behind this position is the administrative piece is a huge piece for me when it comes to this. I've actually put in for this position in a different fashion the last 2 years for a full-time deputy. Call it what you will. Fire department, fire chief, deputy chief of operations, deputy chief of logistics and administration. And I know it's not in the cards for the foreseeable future. So we kind of rethought this position with my conversation with my current mother, Wally, about how we continue in the administrative piece. This position here has some extra pieces for EMS and for some other extra, admin pieces for me. I've had numerous conversations with Tracy Blaze regarding the position where in its current state as a deputy chief, and we're trying to create a new position for the administrative piece and the EMS piece that would assist not just me, but it would continue the leadership piece for me. So
Great, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Before we get into the factors, let me open up to the board for any preliminary questions you might have.
So is this in addition to or in lieu of the current deputy chief position?
It's actually the other chief is the other deputy is the fire piece for me.
Okay.
So it would be a different position.
Okay, so is that job description? Does that job description have elements of this in it, or no?
It does not.
Okay, perfect.
could you explain briefly what the other deputy position is, the fire one?
Correct. Fire operations, hazmat, it basically runs the gamut on the fire side, the operations, the incident command on anything from a fire to hazmat situation, that type of thing. Training my fire officers, that type of thing as well. Trainings, day-to-day stuff, supervision of all the other officers as well. So.
Does that position supervise?
It does.
Employees, how many employees?
We have 52 right now, counting myself and, 52.
Okay. And
So 49, correct.
this position will also supervise staff?
Correct. It would still continue the supervision for all my EMS side of it. So anything, he is still a licensed or certified EMT basic with us.
Yep.
So he would still have a supervisory role with the captains, lieutenants, and the EMS coordinator and assistant coordinator.
Okay, when you say he, is there?
Or whoever, correct.
Okay.
Whoever, correct.
Okay, how many staff would that be that this position might supervise?
Well, technically, they're all EMS driven. They're all EMS, first responders, EMT basics, EMTAs, and paramedics.
So 52 or 49?
49.
Okay, so you're going to have, and I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, I'm just kind of trying to.
Yeah, by right.
No, perfect, yep.
So you're going to have 2 deputies supervising the same group doing different functions?
As of right now, no. In the past, they used to have 2 deputies.
Yep.
Did away with one a long time ago. That was one of the reasons why I've been having these conversations with Tracy the last 2 years, asking why those 2 weren't there anymore.
Yep.
So understand that it is a budget situation, so there's only one right now, and that position is currently going unfilled. The fire side of it is currently going unfilled. We recently promoted 2 captains, 1 full-time and 1 call, to try to help alleviate that side of the house right now, to move into the future. But honestly, in the near future, hopefully in the next 2 years or so, I'd be back in front of you for that deputy fire chief position as well. So,
Okay, what positions did you promote those two captains into?
They were, one was a lieutenant and one was a lieutenant in a prior life. So they came up from lieutenant's positions to be captains,
Okay,
in-house.
okay, all right.
It might be helpful if I just interject a little bit.
Yeah.
So the way that and correct me if
No,
I'm wrong,
yeah.
because I just want to make sure. So the way the fire department works currently is we have a fire chief,
Mhm.
we had 6 full-time firefighters,
Mhm.
which were considered firefighter, EMT,
Paramedics.
paramedics.
Yep.
And then we have what's known as call firemen. Within that group of call firemen and 6 full-time firefighters, they are designated as a lieutenant or a captain
Mhm.
or a deputy. Those are not active job descriptions. Those designations as lieutenant,
Captain.
captain and
Deputy.
deputy, they are designated within the fire company, if you will, as having
A rank.
A rank.
A rank.
It's a ranking. It's not a job description. So we don't currently have this job description on either the logistics side or the fire side. So that's why this is considered a new position.
Okay.
And
I've learned a lot over the last few weeks about the positions that were created or not created in this department
And-
over the last 10 years, so.
And just one step further, those designations as lieutenant, captain, deputy, they're receiving a stipend for those extra responsibilities as pay, but they're not job descriptions because they're more of a ranking. So when he says the job description for deputy fire or deputy logistics, there is no job description currently because those are considered
Right.
Yes.
Until now.
until now,
Until now.
and that's why this is considered a new position.
Okay, so Wally
Is that-
doesn't have a job description before the town, he's under the company.
Correct.
Okay, that's helpful,
Does
thank
that
you.
make sense, Lynn? Is that more
Yeah.
helpful?
We do not have an org chart, right, for this department. At some point, that would be helpful.
There is an org chart on record with the town report. I send one in every year, so there is an org chart right now that,
Okay.
that,
We just don't have access to it here, but,
So
okay.
when,
I can get you one though, absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
so when he says there's 2 deputies, those are rankings,
Rankings.
not job descriptions.
okay,
Yeah, I learned
Is that helpful?
sure. I mean, this is what I do all day, everywhere, I'm like.
No, that's a good question.
When we
That's
say
a great
this is a new,
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
No, I love that, that's good.
that's why this is considered a new position,
Okay,
because it's transitioning from a ranking to a job description.
okay.
Okay, any other preliminary stuff before we dig in?
So I see that this is 19 hours?
Yep.
Okay, and I forget, is that gonna be addressed in our questions? And it's going to be supporting 49 or 52 employees.
Mhm.
Okay. This is non-exempt, so overtime over 19 hours? Or overtime over 40?
It would still be whatever the state ruling is, yeah, it's 40
I think
hours.
it's either
Okay.
35 or 40, depending on the nature of the role.
Depending on the nature.
I think.
Yeah, but
Yep.
since it's,
Unlikely to get
classified
there,
as 19, I
He,
thought maybe.
he is eligible to come back for EMS calls with his EMT, so he can actually come back if he's at the house and he hears a medical call, he can come back for that call as an EMT basis.
And is it fair to say that that's typically when his or her, on this individual's supervisory responsibilities on the EMS side would kick in?
Yes,
On a call basis, not
Yes.
on the administrative side?
not so much, it would be, when it comes to that, it would be on a call basis.
Got it.
He'd be he'd be in, he'd go in the ambulance to a medical call,
Got it.
he would take command of that call if he was there.
And
And
that
that's
was,
where the 49 to 50 call firefighters come into
Right.
play, so he would be acting
Yeah,
as.
he would be an active call firefighter.
No,
EMT, I'm sorry, not
Not
firefighter,
firefighter.
wrong, EMS, EMT,
right.
Would he get paid for that?
yes.
yes,
Okay, so combined, would he maybe have more than 40 hours in a week?
possibly,
Yeah.
possibly.
Okay, would he then go into overtime then?
He could, possibly,
Okay.
yep.
That was good.
Those hours
Yes.
would be combined?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
But he would not be scheduled for more than 19 hours.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
We would typically get to that during the meat of the conversation, but while we're there, let me just make sure
Perfect.
I understand one piece of it. One of the things we're always careful of, Chief, and this relates to any position
Sure.
we're rating, on the supervisory side, is, we always talk about trying to factor in what we would call one-offs, or in this case, the occasional need for this individual to be supervising during an EMS call.
Sure.
So I know we can't predict with any degree of certainty, but if you look at the typical monthly activity, how many times in the course of a month might this individual be called to supervise EMS activity, in the field?
To be totally honest with you, it varies month to month.
Of course.
It does.
If you think about the
Our EMS calls are about 68-70% of our overall call volume annually.
Right.
There are months where we have 80 calls, there are months where we have 150 calls, there are months where we have 60 calls. And if you do the math, he might have an opportunity to come back at 30 times a month or something like that,
Right.
depending on the number of calls we have.
Right.
you know.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, there are things that, it's a weird job. If you've never done it, it's a weird job. There are some things that people really enjoy doing. There are other things that people are like, oh my goodness, that's a cardiac arrest. I don't know if I want to do that cardiac arrest. Or that's a 3-year-old that's a drowning victim. I don't know if I can do that again. So it's not that they pick and choose, but that's the reason they're an on-call person.
Got it.
So-
Thank you.
Well, I have one last question. So will taking this out from the company and putting it into the town remove the stipend for the
I believe
company's
so,
position?
but that's a conversation I would have with you and Tracy. Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's
Yeah,
a-
that's
Yeah.
really a Tracy conversation.
Because that was my thought, is I'm thinking if they're still getting the stipend,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then this job description should not include anything that they could get paid for under the stipend.
That stipend that is in there currently, chief, is for the deputy fire chief, the fire side of it,
Oh.
the way it's written.
Okay.
Is if I remember correctly and I look at my stipends, that was specifically for the fire chief. deputy.
But to me, if he's getting paid out of a different line item or for a different category to respond to medical calls,
Mhm.
is that included in this, why would that be included in this hourly rate for that supervision? I guess is my like, I look at it like,
He was getting an hourly rate for showing up for those calls.
oh, okay.
Prior to, right, yeah.
Okay.
Prior
Yeah.
to.
Okay,
Yeah. Or whoever it would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Whoever.
yeah,
Yeah, whoever it would be.
And this is 19 hours per week?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Good, thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Okay, let's
Thank
dig in. Chief Evans, what we do typically is we go to a factor, we read through it quickly. We don't have to read, every word verbatim.
Sure.
Everyone understands what the different
You
levels
tell me
are.
where I'm going with this.
And then,
Page
any member of the board can ask questions about that particular factor. And, there are times that we can be very exacting with this. There are times that we among the board, we kind of negotiate out what we think it should land on. Is this one a 3? Is this one a 4? One last thing I'll mention is that, we do have a history using the old system of when required, kind of splitting things in half. It's not a 3, it's not a 4, it's a 3.5. My recommendation would be, since this is our first test run of this, we stay away from any of that kind of stuff.
I
We may
don't-
not
I
ever
don't
get
think
there.
we're allowed.
I don't think under this you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit different in the, and
Math.
I don't, the degree, where it says degree, it should just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
The degree, I don't know why that's in there,
Right.
but it's a little bit different in the way the points are awarded, so there's no room for splitting the difference.
Okay.
Okay, let's dig in.
So that means unity.
The first factor is physical environment. Takes into consideration the totality of the surroundings and the circumstances under which the job must be performed, degrees of difficulty, things of exceptional nature, things that might hinder the employee's ability to perform. First degree is a very typical office and climate control working conditions. Second, good working conditions, but periodically subject to air temperature fluctuations, odors, so forth and so on. You can read through I don't think you have to read them all, but and it goes all the way up to the 5th degree, which involves high risks with exposure to potentially hazardous or dangerous conditions on a pretty regular basis, with frequent intervals. Thoughts?
So I think this is where my question about, are we looking at EMS response here? Or are we looking at the office job that's written in the job description here?
Yes.
Because they're two very different answers as far
Right.
as I look at it.
And I agree with the chief, because it's two if he's sitting in the office with me and we're going through procurement, or we're going through, ordering EMS supply, or whatever, it's a little different than being in the back of the ambulance with a patient.
And that's
Yeah.
why,
Or going
that's why
to the
we
scene.
ask about
Yes.
the frequency with which this individual might be, at a fire scene, God forbid, at a car accident, at a home, in all hours of the day, and all types of weather. So I looked at this as sort of trying to combine the two elements of it, the fact that the day-to-day is administrative in the office,
Yep.
but that there are
moments
some
during
frequency
the
of those
day.
calls. I thought it might be a three.
He actually came in
Okay.
this position, Wally came in this morning, and he was, we were having some conversations about some of the things that we've been working on. We had our ambulance inspections
Yeah.
this past week, and there was a medical. We had a driver in a oil truck that went off the road, and it was on his side. So he comes along with me to be, is there a patient type of thing? The patient was fine. He got to go back and sit in the truck, in the squad, so he didn't have to do anything. I did,
But this job description doesn't read to that,
no,
I think is my struggle.
I hear what you said.
I like, what he does right now
Yep,
is a different answer than what's written before us, I guess,
Correct.
is where I'm mentally struggling, because the paper in front of us reads as though it's, like, I think of like Sally, right, like my administrative
Yep.
assistant.
Yep.
This reads as though an administrative job description
Yep.
opposed to a response job description.
so to answer some of that, chief, there are times, as I'm sure you are as a police chief, there are calls that you go on that you're gonna go out and you're gonna evaluate a specific police officer because of the nature of the call. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that this position, we might be in the office, there's a medical, he comes with me to the medical and he's gonna be evaluating those EMTs as a piece.
Evaluating.
But I guess, where is that written
It's-
in the
you're right,
paperwork
you're
before
right.
us?
And you can make notes on the job description and we can
Yeah.
amend
We can
that.
add, we
Yep.
can amend them,
Yeah.
because like I'm saying, I just don't see, I know, I get what they do,
Yep.
but that's why I was wondering, is this a complete separation
Yeah,
from,
I interpreted a couple of the line items of the job description in that fashion, chief. Assist the fire chief in managing the overall operations. That might include, as it says, EMS operations on scene. And further down, I think the fourth bullet from the bottom, supervise and evaluate the performance of subordinate staff. Again, I took that to mean
Yeah.
okay,
both in terms of, performance reviews and also,
okay,
overseeing the performance
scene
on
itself.
scene.
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
You
We
might-
can change the verbiage if that's what you.
Yeah, because I read that
But-
as, I read both of those are
Yeah.
of in the building things, not out of the building
Yeah.
things, if we're looking for
So you might need to
simplicity.
play with the job description that way. But
Yeah.
as long as that's what you're referring to,
Correct.
it could be supervising
Yeah.
on scene as
Correct.
well as administrative,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Thoughts about a three,
Uh,
or anyone have different thinking on it?
3 sounds reasonable to me.
The reason I didn't go to 4 is that in the last line in 4, work involves exposure to severe adverse elements
Yeah.
on a continuing
Yeah.
and prolonged
I agree.
basis. So it doesn't
Agreed.
rise to a
Yeah.
4, I
Yeah.
don't think.
Agreed.
Okay.
But I thought there might be enough there to consider it a 3.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a 3.
Agreed.
All right, let's vote on that.
So administrative positions are interesting, so say you were working in a hospital and you were in an administrative position, and all of a sudden, a patient walks by and collapses. What are you going to do, right? Are you going to you should just call,
Right.
right? But EMS, are they
Yeah.
gonna step back and say, this isn't mine? So I agree with the number 3.
Yeah,
Good.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
So let's quickly take a vote on each one. 3?
Yes, I was also just gonna say, it's an administrative position, but it's also within the fire department, so
Yep.
the building itself, is not a typical office. I know, I don't know what that.
What is it?
I hope
Is
it's
it gonna
not a
s-
hornet
Is
or
it
a
gonna
bee.
sting on us?
I know, is anybody allergic?
I am.
I just can't
Are
see.
you allergic?
Do you have your
I think
EpiPen with you?
Oh, that's a big,
Yeah,
that's a hornet.
That's a hornet, I think,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
see, I called it.
All right,
Yeah, I'm the allergic one.
Anybody get a cup and we can just,
I have to, if I get stung,
that is
then
on a, that
Where's
is
your
a
pen?
hornet?
we need
It's
to
in the car.
call, 911, right?
It's,
I'll run down.
EpiPen?
I will walk slowly, I have Eppies in the car.
Okay.
I will walk slowly to the back step of my car and I will open up the back of the rear. So they're in the back corner, chief, on the
Yeah.
right, the top
Okay.
drawer.
You have multiples?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's right there.
I have 2 in the truck and I
It's in
have
the
my own.
middle.
All right, let's,
I'll
They're in the truck.
I'll stand on a chair and make
Let's
it
see.
mad.
I know, it's January, right?
Don't
Oh,
you
wait,
dare,
no.
get away.
Wait, you're,
Okay. No, that's not a bee.
Is it a hornet though?
No, that's one of those weird stink bugs.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
weird
Oh,
one,
they're
it's
all
the
over
thin
the
one.
place,
Okay.
right?
I just stopped and looked though. They
alright,
look
we're on
similar.
tape.
Sorry.
This is,
We
this
look
is,
like the calamity board.
Sorry.
this is a first for the HR board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so
Good
I'm
thing we
saying
have
three.
2 EMS people.
So
Three.
we're voting on this first one.
Three.
Three,
Yes,
All right.
3.
3.
physical environment 3. Basic knowledge, training, and education. Now, this is one where we're not talking about a formal college education, but we're talking about certainly the discipline-specific
Yep.
equivalents in terms of certs.
Yep.
And you've listed a number of certs here, Chief, that would be required. I started my thinking at a 4. Intensive knowledge of a specialized field, certainly. Knowledge of major municipal functions and activities, yes. The equivalent of a college or university education in terms of the trades and the crafts.
Yep. Agreed.
Other thoughts, different opinions? I felt that 3 didn't quite rise to the level of what the chief is looking for here in terms of, certification / education.
No.
Do we have high school diploma in,
We talked about that.
We did, we talked about that. Yep.
when, just now, when I was?
No.
In
When I
coming
was
up with the
creating
job
this,
Just term
description.
somebody.
when I was creating this, yep.
Yeah, this felt like more than just a high school diploma and 1 to 2 years of advanced training. This requires a lot more than that.
But we don't have that in the job description, right? Am I missing it?
Well, we have the
10
certs.
years,
Fire officer
experience.
training,
But you can have a high school diploma and still get those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but in here, we're looking for a high school diploma or equivalent. You know, I mean, to even put that in here, because what if somebody comes in and they came out of 8th grade? You know, I mean, don't we need to have something in the job description?
What does 4 say? I don't have page 5. What does 4 say? Does it say high school
It
equivalent?
says
4 says the
intensive knowledge.
equivalent to college, university education.
So number
Oh.
2 says equivalent to high school education, you know,
Right.
so at least that, I would
3
think.
says high school plus a couple of broad trainings,
Where's
equal to
that
1 to
one?
2 years of
Four?
Number
advanced.
3.
Yeah.
3.
Oh, that's the last sentence,
Three,
number 3.
yeah. But this
Yeah.
also requires certifications above and beyond, I think, what 3 would require.
So do we add under education, high school diploma required? We talked about that.
Or equivalent.
Or
Yeah,
equivalent.
high school.
Or
yeah.
equivalent, because some get a GED, they get
Yeah.
the equivalent.
Because, to Patty's point, you can get these extra trainings
Yep.
without a high school diploma, right? Or
Right.
without a college degree, associates or anything, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Chief?
Uh,
Someone doesn't absolutely
the-
have to have a high school diploma in order to get the certs that you're looking for?
They cannot be in EMS or fire without a high school
Oh,
diploma.
okay,
Then
then we
that-
should
then
add
we
that
should
to the
definitely
job
add
Yeah,
description.
yeah,
Okay.
they have to have that in the job.
They have to have what?
High school diploma. or
Minimum of a high
Minimum.
school
Minimum.
diploma or
Okay.
GED.
All right, so we'll put it back into the job description?
Yep, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And so what would that be then, a 3? Or a 2?
The question
still
is, how
think it's
much
a
weight do
4.
you want to give the additional certs that are required?
Right.
Is it a 4 though? Because equivalent of high
I
school
would,
plus
I don't get to
addition.
say, but I
3
would
is
still.
plus
Well,
additional
you can
broad
share your thoughts.
specialized training.
Doesn't guarantee anything, but you
No.
can share
So
your
they're
thoughts.
looking for a college or university education or master ability in trades or crafts
What are the equivalent of?
for number 4.
Yep,
Equivalent of, yes.
yep.
And I
So-
thought that the certs would be the equivalent of master ability in
Yep.
trades or crafts.
Okay.
I don't know, that's
1
kind
or
of
2 years of
strong.
advanced training or college. Because I thought that was
Then associates.
So you're looking at number 5 or number 4?
If you look at number 3, because I think each one is inclusive of kind of the one before, is
That's
how
what I
I
was
think
just
of
gonna
it.
say, right.
So like, equivalent to high school plus additional broad specialized training equal to 1 or 2 years of advanced college training, so an associate's degree.
Yeah.
I guess just because I don't know, would the optional fire officer training per you or the EMT be equivalent to an associate's degree?
Most of it is. You have to take the
Okay.
equivalent of, there's 3 of them that you have to take that
Okay.
is the equivalent of.
Okay,
That might be
but would it be higher? Because number 4 is higher than the equivalent of 2 years, right?
Page 5
It
is
just says
missing.
equivalent to
My
college.
page 5 is
Doesn't,
missing, because I was making
Number 4
copies.
says equivalent to college or university
university.
education or master ability.
yep,
Trades or crafts, right? And that's what we're saying, that these special certifications would be the equivalent in trades.
To a bachelor's degree, or equivalent to college or university, does that not mean bachelor's?
Could be associates.
Okay,
and that's the way I read it, but
Okay.
it could be both.
okay.
So the next one, 5, says equivalent to 1 to 2 years work in a graduate school at a master's level. So that one is even,
No.
More.
you know, yeah, I mean, so
Right.
I would say that's the bachelor's, and then 4th is, you know, yeah,
Well, that's why I was thinking this, 3 is associates, 4 is bachelor's, 5 is,
yeah. I wanna go
Working on
back to
master's.
I think that's a
associates.
good way to look at it.
that's how I
Yeah,
interpreted
I wanna
those.
go back
Yeah.
to,
It's this
the
last sentence in
associates.
3 that makes me like lean towards a 3, but then if you really look at some of the basic things that they're talking about, it's not as specialized as
Right.
intensive
That's
knowledge
what,
of a
that's what
specialized
caught me to a
field,
4,
so
yeah.
that's, it's between the last sentence in 3 and the first sentence in 4 that has me kind of
Yeah.
toggling between the two.
I
Mm.
was gonna say, I think we could clearly toggle between one or the other here.
I like number 3, equivalent to high school plus additional broad specialized training equal to 1 or 2 years of advanced training or college.
This says equivalent to college or university education or master's ability,
Yeah.
so that throws it really, I think it's more of a 3 than
I
it
think
is
I
a
think so
4.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 does say
We
the
seem
2
to be
years of
heading towards a
college.
3
I think
here.
so.
Any,
3 does say
any
that.
concerns about a 3?
Nope,
No,
Let's vote on it.
okay, 3.
3?
3.
Okay, 3 news, thank you.
We may want to, are we able to specify with these to actually make them articulate associates, bachelor's, and,
That's a question for Sandy.
okay.
What do you mean, in the job description or in the interview process?
No, in
Oh.
the written review,
Okay.
for the sake of clarity,
Yep,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
We can
Where this
discuss
is
that
our
before
first
post
time,
meeting.
like actually
Okay.
working this.
Okay, so say somebody interviews and they have a high school diploma, they do not have these, but they're very interested in getting some of these additional education and or certifications. Do we allow them to come in? Do we allow them to come in and within 6 months start a program?
I think you could write that in, yep.
Okay.
You know, after the interview, and say, yeah, this is a great, based on all the other pieces of the puzzle, you could write that into their probation right now, and you could say, within a year, you have to get A, B, C, and D.
Okay, so say we all win the lottery
Yeah,
and we have a whole new cast of characters in here. Can we memorialize that somewhere?
sure.
Well, I think at the discretion of the fire chief under
Yeah.
the firefighter one suggests that, right? So that's, you could either have it, so fire officer training, example 1, 2, 3, fire chief credentialing at the discretion of the fire chief. That puts it in his discretion whether or not the
Yeah, but an
candidate has that one.
EMTB at a minimum,
Correct.
you know, if they don't have an EMTB.
Yeah.
So that should
But I
that
also
be,
like the last sentence in the 3 where it says specialized training equal to.
we're talking about in the job description.
Oh, sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going
Is
back
that-
to that number 1. All right, so,
She's saying what she just asked you was, could you hire someone that doesn't have these and they would obtain those within a certain
yes,
amount?
we could have
So
that.
should it say emergency medical technician, should that also say at the discretion of the fire chief?
No.
Or
I would say
within 12 months upon successful
within a certain
completion of.
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be discretion.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I would agree with you on that one.
So within 12 months, would that be reasonable?
Yeah.
How long is an EMTB course?
Most of them there are hybrids that are 5 weeks. There are some that are semester long that Northern Essex and North Shore puts on.
Yep,
You can pay one of the private companies, like I said, for a hybrid, that's 5 weeks, that are 15 weeks.
But wait.
But it's all about how much money you wanna pay. It's about $1,300, $1,400 for an EMT basic right now.
Okay.
Yep, so.
Do we have
I mean-
educational assistants?
Well, my,
They have $500, well, full-timers have $500 for education in the contract. The call people and the per diems, no.
Okay.
We usually hire them with that piece.
Okay.
my thought is you would want somebody who came into this job with that though already, because
Yeah.
they're supervising
Yeah,
EMT.
that's
so-
why it's at
Yeah.
a minimum, right, right.
So I would think that one would be required upon
Yeah,
hire.
yep.
But what if you had a really strong candidate?
How do you know they're gonna be strong at supervising
Well,
if you
looking at
haven't
their resume, you know, maybe they've had a great, strong resume, you know, have interest in the EMTB, but don't have it yet. How limited is our pool of candidates gonna be if we're requiring an EMTB?
For that position as an EMS person, I think they would have it, I'll be honest with you. I
Yeah,
think they
sure.
would have it. I do.
Yeah.
You'd have to understand the lingo, you'd have to
Yeah.
understand what they're doing, how they're
That's-
doing.
yeah.
I-
I think that one's,
That's why I
I think
wrote
that
at a
one's a
minimum.
must-have upon hire.
Yeah, that's why I wrote at a minimum that one.
Yeah.
Have this position has to have it, because they'll be part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not hiring a sergeant who's never done patrol before.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so,
Okay,
that's how I look
At
at
a
the
minimum, so
supervision
we'll just
piece of
leave
the
that as
EMT of this. I'm not hiring somebody to supervise EMTs who's never done this before.
yep.
You know.
That gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
You know,
all right,
and
so
it's like,
let's,
wait a
let's get
minute.
back in the beam here. So we rated that as a 3,
Yeah,
right? And now we're on to problem-solving skills and effort.
Mark's keeping us. on
Measuring the
track.
type and range of problem-solving which the position consistently requires. Consider the analysis, the evaluative, creativity, and reasoning skills required, the ability to make conclusions, and the body of knowledge required. I think we can skip right to at least the middle here, given the nature of the role, unless anyone feels differently. A 4 is requiring strong understanding of and the ability to successfully apply complex concepts from a body of knowledge or specific discipline. Applications must be explained and clearly communicated to others. Routinely requires their work be organized, methodologies adapted to various circumstances, and associated tasks be efficiently and effectively accomplished. A 5 requires advanced training, experience, and understanding of this complex body of knowledge. Independently evaluate new information, synthesize this information, evaluate alternatives, apply and direct the successful application of varied resources. So Chief, other than the one-offs, which, you know, you have to make decisions in the moment, depending on, you know, all the factors, all the circumstances, is the majority of this job on the administrative side, are things in place? You know, how frequently, if at all, is this individual responsible for, you know, setting new standards, creating new efficiencies, you know, as opposed to following
This position would be.
protocols?
This position would be taking the new protocols from, let's say, OEMS, the Office of Emergency Medical, understanding and then actually, you know, be part of the training team for that, for the new protocols that come up. And those are usually once or twice a year. So you have to be able to understand what they are, interpret, that's where the lingo comes in, and understanding the verbiage and things like that.
Yeah.
And then being able to present that in the correct manner for all of your people that are there.
Okay.
So that is a part of it, But a lot of this is, you know, day-to-day stuff too.
Standard stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
standard stuff.
So it's like kind of a hybrid in that
Yeah.
respect. Okay. Thoughts?
5.
You thinking it's a 5? Is that what you think?
You know, I like what you just said about new information coming out and being able to assimilate that and communicate it and train and teach and all of that. You know, if you're not really familiar and have that kind of level of aptitude, intellect, I guess, you know, it's not going to be received well by the 52 employees
Correct.
on the team, right? So you really, I would think that you really need to know your stuff.
Thank you. Other thoughts, questions?
With the payroll, policy, procurement, that sort of stuff, is that an aid and assist to you or independently working as a?
Aid to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards a 4.
Yeah,
because I believe that some of the advanced training and evaluating new information, events or circumstances, synthesizing with alternative outcomes, I would think would rise more to the level of the chief in terms of operations of the overall department. Routinely requires that work be organized, methodologies adapted to various circumstances, requires good interpersonal skills, efficiently in accomplishing work, frequently meaning concepts. I'm leaning more towards a 4, because I think some of the extended problem-solving skills are really more geared towards bringing that to the level of the chief.
I can support that.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I had it right in the middle between a 4 and a 5.
We don't do that anymore.
I know.
We loved those halves, Mark.
I mean, things
That was
like
my advanced thought on it.
Yeah.
things like directing and evaluating, and that to me is more of a supervisory, whereas assist, which is what Patty just brought up, I think is more of a 4.
Well taken.
Okay.
Other thoughts? Not, let's vote on it.
4.
4?
4.
4 it is. Number 4, physical skills and effort. And this again is one of those circumstances where we have to consider the totality of the role and the frequency with which certain things might happen, whether it's supervising staff or in this case, physical activities, manual labor, so forth and so on. When you read the factor, it talks about this factor measuring the degree of physical effort or exertion required in the performance of essential work functions under regular conditions, which would, to me, suggest, normal day-to-day conditions, which the chief has already said is not necessarily the case.
Right.
Because a lot of it is administrative, so, I had it somewhere between a 2 and a 3.
Pick one.
Well, just one person's opinion. I want to hear it.
So what about when they are out, in an active event? And this person can be an EMS, right, responder?
Yep.
So, and I would think that those EMS folks are pretty, have stamina,
Yep.
right?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I agree with you, 80% of this is gonna be an administrative piece.
Right.
That other 20%, he could be out there
Right.
assisting with a patient, putting them in the stair chair.
Chief, is it fair to say on scene, or let's say a scene where fire, police, and/or EMS are all involved?
Yep.
The physical exertion involved, is it fair to suggest that the firefighting side of this would require more, the heavier packs and so forth, as opposed to the EMS? I know there's equipment to be
Yeah,
carried.
there's equipment to be carried, patients, you have to be able to lift, a certain amount of, weight when it comes to your patients. But with 2 of us, you don't do it alone, you're not supposed to. But yeah, most of the heavy lifting, pardon the pun, is on the fire side.
That's what I
On the
thought.
fire side.
Does he drive any fire equipment?
Only the ambulance is in the squad right now. Yep. Yep. In the past, yes, drove the ladder, drove the tower, drove the tanker. Yeah.
So now he would be driving the ambulance and squad car?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think as written, I think it's a 2.
Yeah.
Given the frequency involved, I have it as a 2 as well. Any strong feelings about that, Chief?
I agree with both of you on this.
Okay.
2.
I would be interested to kind of revisit this, in 8 months or something, and just see how the position is working.
Yep.
How often does this person go out and is part of a active scene?
And we can track that too. We can
Okay.
track that, yeah.
Yeah, because we could always come back and
Okay.
reevaluate, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So 2?
Thoughts? Let's vote on it.
2.
Yeah.
2?
2. Good.
2?
Yes, I'm sorry, I thought I said
No
2.
problem.
Yes.
Experience, number 5. It seems straightforward. You call in the job description for a minimum of 10 years of experience in fire administration, progressive leadership. I'm assuming there's no fluff on that. You need 10 years plus, which would bring it to a 7. Is that correct? Any thoughts on that? Other opinions, or? A 6 is over 7 and up to 10, but you're specifically asking for 10 plus. Thoughts?
I say 7.
Yeah.
10 years, that's a long time.
Okay, so over 7 years and up to and including 10 years would be a 6.
Oh,
And I'm going to say it's a 6 because when I look at the rating of the fire chief, that is also 10 years' experience and was rated a 6.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Let's
So
scale it
that's
down.
where
You
we're
can
just
do a 10.
and
Okay.
so it's up to 10 years.
7 up to 10.
Over 10 years.
There goes
4
your
years.
job, right?
Yeah.
So does that make?
Yeah, that's a good catch, thank
Okay,
you.
so I would say a 6.
Okay,
Yeah. Other opinions? If not, we'll vote on that.
thank you, Diane.
6.
Good catch.
Diane?
6?
6?
6.
6?
6 it is. Interaction with others, customer service. Measures the relative level of human interaction and the responsibility which goes with the jobs for meeting, dealing with, and influencing other individuals. Could be inside, outside the department. Consider how often the contacts are made, whether they involve furnishing or obtaining information only, or whether they involve influencing others. Factor measures interpersonal skills required in work relationships. I was thinking about this as it relates to some of the administrative pieces, procurement, you're dealing with vendors, I assume?
Yep,
on a
that's
regular
exactly what I was
basis?
just gonna say.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I'll let other folks fire first here, thoughts?
Tell me, what are your thoughts?
I'm just taking it all in.
I think it's a 3.
So
They're
is-
not gonna be the public information officer.
He is not.
No,
No.
so,
No, that
And where do
person
you
is
see
not.
that, that's
Yeah.
That
under?
person is not. No.
But there will be contact, communication with service recipients, general public, employees, all of that for this
Outside
position?
organizations.
Yeah, agencies,
Vendors,
vendors.
banks.
Yep,
Yes.
yep,
yeah,
agreed.
I think it's a 3.
it's a 3.
Can you explain why that would be?
Especially with on the EMS side, we have many vendors when it comes to whether it's equipment or supplies,
Billing.
billing, the apparatus themselves. We're designing one right now, it's being built right now. That position is heavily weighed when we put this together. So I think that's an easy one with the vendors. That's an easy one when it comes to that. Whether it's vendors or suppliers or other agencies, that's a no-brainer for this one.
Okay.
Okay, I don't quite follow you,
So,
so sorry to dig
No,
a
no,
little
that's
bit
okay.
deeper.
Yeah.
So this position is going to work hand in hand with vendors and suppliers
Yep.
for equipment to bring to training?
on the ambulances, whether it's stretchers, whether it's the batteries for the stair chairs or the Lucases,
Yeah.
you know, that.
Defibs.
Defibs, ordering pretty much anything that comes with it on that side of the house. so to speak.
Okay, so this person's gonna be the SME for those, subject matter expert for those pieces of equipment and where they came from, how do we implement them, how do we train on
No,
them?
no, not necessarily as that person, but having the opportunity to have the conversation, hey, would you mind reaching out to vendor X and can you check in on this piece of equipment that hasn't been delivered yet, or using his or her expertise. Hey, the ambulance bed, has to be this wide, has to have this many lights. That person could technically be an expert, but they also could be what's the right word for it? The administrator of that piece for me as well.
So I can give you an example. So like when we buy a cruiser, I'm the one who decides what the cruiser looks like, what's in the cruiser. I'm the one that gets the quote. I'm the one that goes before the committee to get the approval to buy it. I'm the one that signs, you know what I mean, when we actually do it. Then the deputy chief, once I sign it and say, order, this is ordered, he's the one that follows up. Where's the car? What's the standard?
That's
If they
this
say
position.
that's how
Yeah,
I see
that's-
this. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Your radio isn't going to fit. We need to switch that brand out with this
Yep.
brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're the big picture of the procurement
Exactly.
in the assembly, if you will. This person is the one who's going to follow up. Hey, it's been 3 months. Where's my cruiser? You know
Is
what I
that
mean?
your,
That is
your
exactly,
thoughts?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's how it was when we were thinking about it in the beginning anyway, so yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, any major changes need to happen, my deputy comes back to me and is like, hey, this is gonna cost more or cost less, or they say they can't do this, then I field it and bounce it back,
Right.
Okay,
for the follow-up.
So,
and that's a
Chief, that,
3?
I'm sorry, that reinforces your thinking about a 3?
That reinforces my thinking about it, that a 3, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep, I can
Other
support that.
thoughts?
Yep,
I'm
Vote?
Yeah.
three.
Yeah,
3?
3,
thank you for the explanation.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Confidentiality.
Number 7, confidentiality.
Oh my gosh.
This says payroll implications, budget implications.
HIPAA.
I assume there's significant confidentiality involved from somebody who's on an EMS call. So fair to say that it's a consequential piece of this job. Number 3 says works with limited confidential information, personnel records, bid proposals, citations, so forth and so on, which if disclosed might adversely affect operations, employee morale, create adverse public relations. A 4 has regular access to departmental information and/or a wide variety of confidential information, such as criminal investigations, negotiating positions, development proposals, so forth and so on. 5, full and complete access to municipal-wide confidential information. The disclosure would cause very serious legal and operational financial repercussions.
Chief,
I
what are you thinking?
I'm thinking of a 4 myself.
Okay,
That's right, Ed.
The person, this position would have regular access, to whether it's payroll, whether it's, criminal investigations. I mean, we do get a lot of records requests for specific situations. So that person has to go into our EMS, program and print something out for that person. So they would have access to that. They would have to.
okay.
Would they have discipline record, like personnel file stuff?
If it's on the EMS side, yes, they could. But that actually goes through her, so
Yeah, I would say.
it would go through her.
I'm thinking more HIPAA information if he's responding to a call and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
has insight as to personal medical information.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that actually covers all of us.
Mhm.
That covers all of us,
Yeah.
so.
So Diane, what are you thinking, 4 or 5?
I don't think it rises to the level of a 5.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's probably a 4. I was leaning towards a 3 initially, but I'm thinking it's probably more towards a 4.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
I would support going a little bit stronger than less strong for confidentiality. So if we were looking at a 3 or a 4, I'd support a 4.
Yeah. I say a 4, especially if they're having anything to do with the supervision of personnel,
Right.
which could result in either whether it's recommendations for discipline or remediation or re-education, you know what I mean? I think if that's in the cards for this position, then it's a 4.
I probably
you.
could support a 4.
All right, let's vote on that. Diane? 4?
4.
4.
4.
There it is. Number 8, occupational risks. Measures the relative degree of exposure to hazards which might cause injury on the job. The probability of injury as well as the severity of injuries if any accident actually occurred is being considered here. Fair to say that there is some risk involved here, especially on the EMS side. A 3 would be duties. By the way, Chief, you see, I say the reason I'm reading some of the stuff, we can all see it, because we video, and because anyone listening may not be aware of how these factors lay out. We always like to give some examples of how they read. So,
I would say a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to
No.
jump in.
no, it's all right. It's all right. Again, the 4, I circled the word. 4 talks about frequent.
I
Yeah,
agree
I
with
think
this.
it's fair to say this is not a frequent exposure.
Nope, I agree
Yeah.
with this.
But it does certainly have some, and it does have the potential for risk
Potential.
depending on what kind of
Yeah,
senior.
it does have
is. So-
Potential is a key word.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
so
I'd
I
say
would
3.
say a 3 as well.
yep,
3.
Vote?
3.
3.
3.
3.
Great.
3 it is. Number 9, complexity. How difficult is it to perform the essential functions of the job? Is the job made more difficult by the range and diversity of the assignment? Various uses of information technology, relevance of guidelines for performing the work, the nature of the thinking challenge required to accomplish the work. Fair to say that this is a broad range of responsibilities, a complex range, if you will. There's a little of everything involved here. Other thoughts? I can tell you what mine is after, but curious what other people are thinking on this one.
I think broad range is.
I'm sorry?
I think broad range is
Yeah.
spot on.
So number 4,
Yeah.
I can support a 4.
Chief, your thoughts on this one?
I just finished reading number 4, and I agree with it too. I wouldn't go so far as a 5, but I would say, yeah, the broad range.
Yeah. I started to think about a 5, but then I thought, no, that's really the chief's responsibility.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So, other thoughts? If not, we'll vote.
I'm leaning towards a 3.
Okay, let's share your thoughts. Yeah.
So if I read, and I'm gonna check in a minute, I can see 4, but if I read 4, assignments typically concern such matters as studying trends in the field for application to the work, assessing services and recommending improvements, plan projects, devising new techniques for application to the work, recommending policy standards or criteria, and solving typical occupational problems. Again, that to me seems more of a supervisory application, if you will. But I understand the first sentence, the broad range of assignments employing many different concepts, theories, principles, techniques, and so forth related to a professional or administrative field. That's where I get it gets muddy for the 4. 3, the work consists of varied, extensive assignments requiring the practical application of a variety of concepts, practices, specialized techniques relating to a profession, highly technical or administrative field. Assignments typically involve evaluation, which is spoken to in the job description, and interpretation of factors, conditions, or unusual circumstances, inspecting, testing, evaluation, compliance with established standards or criteria, gathering, analyzing, and evaluating facts of data using specialized fact-finding techniques. I personally lean it more towards a 3, but the broad range of assignments could also be a work consists of varied and extensive assignments.
Well, but Diane, to your point, I don't know that this particular job has a broad range of assignments. It's pretty narrow from what I would,
Yeah.
So,
you know,
so you thinking it's a 3?
yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with a 3 either.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were at a 4.
Yeah, we were, but.
We were.
That was a really good
Yeah.
explanation.
Yeah.
Am I
That was a
arguing
really good
for the wrong?
explanation.
You did a good job.
Yeah, I know, that was a really good explanation.
Yeah.
We started to talk about 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm
You
like,
were
am I
hearing things.
arguing against myself?
No.
No, you're good, you're good.
Yeah, no, I can, a 3 makes sense. That broad range of assignments, I mean, it's gonna be kind of a narrow scope, right? For this position.
The way it's written, it's administrative. Yeah.
Yep, okay.
The only thing I thought that might reach towards a 4 is on the EMS side of things, whether it's new protocols, new equipment, training as such, that it might rise to a 4, but I'm happy with the 3.
But again,
But I
they're
can see it in
doing
the
that
3 as
under
well.
his supervision
Right.
and approval.
And I can
Yeah.
see it under the compliance, the evaluation and compliance, I can
Okay.
see it under that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, good discussion, thank you. Vote?
3?
3.
3.
3.
Supervision received. This factor evaluates the nature of the instructions, directions, control, and monitoring which this position receives, in this case, obviously, from the chief. Chief, let's turn to you for your thoughts on this one first.
So, my vision for this, for the supervising on this one, it goes along with the creation of my EMS protocols and things like that. We'll be looking at new EMS coordinators and assistant coordinators and new programs, things like that, that this position would be, consistently working with. So, and supervising those that are.
This is received.
This is what you're doing to
for
them.
me, I'm sorry.
This is how much
To
you will
what-
be
To
supervising.
what degree would this individual have these responsibilities without your oversight, without your occasional checking in, whether it's day to day, week to week?
It would, so.
How independent?
So, again, it would be independent when I'm not there. You know, the 19 hours obviously would be, this position would be in the office, but it could be, again, they could still go out on a call and still supervise somebody on a call, you know, that type of thing. So,
I mean, is this individual gonna be responsible for actually developing programs? Or really just working within the?
no,
within
at times, but for the most part, it would be within the scope of what we put together, the standards that we put together,
Right.
so.
Right,
You know, that's a good point, that is
okay.
a good point.
That to me suggests a 4.
Does it?
I was leaning towards a 4.
General objectives and may be monitored for progress, coordination, and completion, but does have responsibility for developing and recommending, right?
Okay. I was thinking more like a 3. Performed with minimal instruction or monitoring. Work may be verified for accuracy or correctness. Once assigned or after job requirements are mastered, nearly all work is performed with minimal instruction.
Other thoughts?
So, the difference between 3 and 4 has responsibility for developing and recommending work requirements. So how much autonomy is this position going to have?
Well, the only person that this position would have to report to is the chief anyway, so.
Yep.
They would have autonomy on specific situations when it came to, you know, delivering the protocols and things like that. Putting together the trainings, putting together specific, when it comes to even the design and things like that of our apparatus, he would be or she, whoever it is, would be putting that stuff together to present to me first anyway, so. I could actually go with a 3 myself on this one.
I don't want to rate it less than, I mean, it's a pretty responsible position.
It is.
You know, and so I don't want to downgrade my marks, you know, I mean, I want to give it,
Yep.
give them a solid, you know, level.
This is another one I could see coming back to you in 8 months, 9 months and saying, this, you know what? I believe, I think we should either go up or down on this one.
Is this position going to develop and recommend work requirements?
Possibly.
Okay, so that's 4.
Without your supervision though.
Recommend to you, though.
Oh, that he would come to, that this position would obviously run it by me first before putting it into, you know, into fruition. I would still have to approve it.
All right, so let me see something.
I'm between a 3 and a 4.
That's a 4 then.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4.
Chief Fisher, any thoughts?
I also
I'm
think-
trying to balance what we're saying versus what's in writing, and where I keep
Good.
struggling.
Yep. It's develop and implement policies, procedures. for
Yeah,
the
because
department.
under that policy and strategy, it says nothing about under the supervision of the fire chief or under the approval of the fire chief on that.
Develop and implement policies and procedures for the department. Also, you know, 10 years of experience is some strong experience, right? On the job description.
But I'm just thinking, if we're saying this person has the autonomy to develop policy and implement without your approval, does that contradict anything in your job description that says you're responsible
Right.
for policy implementation and
correct.
training? Like,
So
I guess,
assist with, I guess I'd have to rewrite that too, you're right, it would be, you know, assist with instead of develop.
that, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's where, you
Yep.
know what I mean, that's a big, it's written big
Yep.
there. But does it, you know what I mean, you don't want this taking
No,
away
No, I would have final
or
say.
contradicting with anything that your responsibility is.
Correct, I would still have final say.
Yeah,
Okay.
So 4th is has responsibility for developing and recommending work
Correct.
requirements. So
Correct.
it's still recommending.
It's still
Right.
recommended,
Yeah.
correct.
so in the job description under policy and,
See, to me, when I see 3, work may be verified for accuracy or correctness. That's someone that has a very specific task.
Yeah.
They're completing, X, Y, and Z every week, and they're turning it in, and the chief is looking at it. But if you read the job description, things like managing costs, assisting with payroll, going out for grants, analyzing data, ensuring compliance, that to me makes it sound like he is going to the chief with recommendation, is receiving more supervision from the chief on some of these items that he is responsible for coordinating and looking at.
Develop and implement policies and procedures for the department.
But if you look at resource management and policy strategy, so administration and operations assisting with, yes, I'm doing that under your direction.
Yep.
But resource management, policy, and strategy, in budget and efficiency, and even the leadership suggests he's doing that independently, in the way that it's written. Unless I'm reading
So
it
you're
wrong.
saying it should say develop, implement, and ensure compliance with policy and standards under the chief's supervision?
I think each one of those should say,
Assisting
upon
or
approval or under the supervision.
Under the supervision, yep,
Just like the assisting up here, assisting with financial oversight.
yep,
You know what I mean? He's assisting you with it. I think he's assisting all of these with you
yep,
with it, and then independently executing once you say this is now yours.
yep.
You know what I mean? But to me, develop and implement and ensure compliance with policies and standards is more of a chief thing than an assistant thing.
So would you put under essential responsibilities and duties may include but are not limited to the following under the chief's supervision? At the
Essential
top?
responsibilities and duties may include, but are not limited to, executing the following tasks under the approval and direct supervision of the fire
Under
chief.
direct, under direct, yep,
Yeah,
Okay,
supervision and approval of.
yep,
You know what I mean?
yep.
so does that,
Because they're your helper with this. They're
Correct.
not the doer of
They are no,
this.
correct.
Under the supervision of
Under the supervision and approval of the fire chief.
Of the chief, yep,
okay.
yep.
so
All right.
that connects it to a 4 in your opinion, or?
I think it puts it back to a 3.
Okay.
I think if he's just out there saying, I created this training
Spreadsheet.
and I'm going to implement this training with
Yep.
those people without his knowledge
Right.
or final read through of this training, then it's a
Correct.
4.
Correct.
I think if it's a 3, once assigned or after job requirements are mastered, that's to me the language that says I got to check with my boss to make sure this training I'm about ready to implement
Yep.
and make sure everyone's compliant with is good.
And
But
that's
no-
that's
but
your
the
understanding of
fourth-
it as well,
Yeah.
okay, so that would bring
But
it to a
4th
3.
is developing and recommending work requirements.
Yeah.
So recommending to the chief.
Yeah, and I mean that's just one example of these. You know what I mean? The developing of policy
It's
or
not a 4, but whatever.
yeah. I mean I could go either 3 or 4, but I was
Let's
more
go
worried
3
about
We can't.
I was more worried about the language here.
So
Can't go
then
3.5.
we've corrected the language in the job description.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
I
now
can see
let's.
both.
yep. There are pieces, you can't go half though.
I think it's more of a 4 because it's
Okay.
not just you're doing X, Y, and Z. You're paying the bills, you're doing payroll, you're doing this, you're doing check, 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 check. This is more of an interactive, supervising,
Yeah.
supporting. That's why I think it.
I mean, when I look at the last sentence in 4, that to me, that suggests what we've just talked about in the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is given general objectives and may be monitored for progress, coordination, and completion
Completion,
under your supervision.
yep.
Yeah.
That feels like a 4 to me.
Yep. I can see that.
All right, let's vote.
Lynn? Any
4
other?
is fine, yep.
Yep.
4?
4.
4 it is. Good discussion, thank you.
That was good discussion.
Supervision given.
No,
Uh,
no,
Buckle up, it'll be a bumpy ride.
it'll be a bumpy ride. Yeah, not kidding.
This is gonna be.
The type of supervision, is it functional, is it technical, is it direct, is it administrative? The accountability measured in terms of the responsibility for results, and costs and methods, responsibility for personnel actions, hiring, discipline, termination, orientation. Again, this is sort of a hybrid, budget development and controls through subordinates. I think we can skip the first couple. The 3 provides immediate direction, control, monitoring over a functional unit or a section of time spent. Supervisory responsibilities include direct accountability for quantitative and qualitative results, but do not extend to personnel hiring and firing or budgetary control. On the budget side, this person develops a budget, but it does not control the budget. Is that correct, Chief?
That is correct.
Okay. A 4, provides direction, control, and monitoring of a major division, highly technical section, multiple operating divisions of a department, responsibility for service delivery results, personnel actions, workforce and job planning, budget administration, cost control. A 5, general supervisory responsibilities for a department or a division of a major department, including all personnel actions, workforce planning, all phases of budget management and cost control. I didn't think it rose to that level.
Nope.
No.
I thought it might rise to a 4, but we'll open up the floor. Other thoughts?
What is a major division identified as?
EMS
I was gonna say EMS.
I mean, EMS is a
is a major division.
big,
Yeah.
big
It's
piece
half,
of the
it's
operation.
half of mine, yeah.
I mean, again, many of those people are firefighters as well, but, you know, this person has the day-to-day for the EMS side, which is substantial.
I'd say a 3.
Why?
So 4, personnel actions, workforce and job planning could do that, but this person is not gonna be responsible for hiring, firing, discipline, right?
100%.
Okay,
That is 100% the fire chief.
okay. Service delivery results, sure. Workforce and job planning, not really, because it's gonna be such a specialized position,
Correct.
right? I mean, workforce and job planning is your,
Yep. Correct.
responsibility. Budget administration and cost control, that's your responsibility,
Yep.
chief, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I go back to a 3.
I think it's a 3.
3.
3.
Agreed.
Well, let's vote.
3?
3.
3.
3.
Great.
Number 12, supervision scope. This factor is used to evaluate the extent, breadth, and depth of the direction, monitoring, and review given. A 4, regularly develops job and task requirements, is responsible for all aspects of job or task completion, and may direct and monitor other supervisors and the results achieved. Has job quality, personnel performance evaluation, and cost control responsibilities.
3.
A 3, required to provide most job instructions, directions, coordinates multiple activities, jobs, or projects, regularly reviews job performance, task and job coordination, and the quality of the work performed, may develop work requirements, and has responsibility to ensure projects are complete.
I'm going back to a 3 because number 4, direct or monitor other supervisors and the results achieved. I mean, this is not gonna be at that level.
No.
This position is not gonna be, is responsible for all aspects of job or task completion, okay. But that may direct and monitor other supervisors.
So everyone on the EMS side is an individual contributor other than this deputy?
Correct.
Okay.
As job quality, personnel performance evaluation, no, this person, well, they're gonna have some part of that overall job performance evaluation, right?
Yep.
Because they'll have what this position specifically is working with personnel to train, right? But like, you know, behaviors are not gonna be something, you know, could be part of that relationship. But you're the one that's gonna be doing the oversight with the performance eval, right? Okay, and what's the last one? Cost control responsibilities, you know, to a point, right? Like, does this, radio fit in the new, you know, cruiser for, you know, Patty?
Go back to my
And do we
example.
get a Bose or do we get like a?
Bose.
Oh, wow.
How many
No.
times-
I
Yeah,
can
I'm
tell
not
you the
getting
answer to
Bose.
that. No,
Yeah, I don't think I'll get a Bose.
no,
Yeah.
we're not even getting Motorola.
Kenwood.
So, you
Kenwood.
know, as far
Kenwood.
as cost control responsibilities, you know, I think possibly at some, you know, some of that is going to fall onto this person with recommendations back to you.
Yep.
You know, we've got 2 different stretchers, you know, here are the pros and cons of each.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
Okay, but I think that again, that's going to be ultimately your responsibility.
So that brings it to a 3? Is that what
I
you're
would say a
thinking?
3, yes,
3.
Let's vote.
3.
3.
3.
3.
3.
Number 13, judgment and
Oh, I
initiative.
missed the tens, right? You know, now we're up to 15.
Judgment and initiative measures the degree of independent action required by the position and the extent to which duties are dictated by standard practice or the exercise of judgment. Consider criteria such as the creative effort used in devising new methods, techniques, policies, procedures, and the degree of participation in the formulation of long and short-range plans and policies. So let's just start there, Chief. How often, if at all, will this individual be responsible for participating in formulating long and short-range plans and policies?
This person, whoever it would be my right-hand man who would throwing stuff off of and, trying to
see
put
that.
things together, yes.
Yep.
So participating in, not developing, but
No,
to participating in.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. Thoughts?
Well, I'd say a 3 to start. Performance of specialized procedures. That's what this person is, right? It's going to be I think it's still an SME
Still what?
requiring.
I don't know what an
Subject
SME is.
subject
Really?
matter expert.
Oh, subject matter.
I didn't hear you.
Requiring comprehensive knowledge of division department functions and techniques. Okay, so I'd say that for sure, or the exercise of technical expertise in applying standard professional techniques. Exercise judgment in the analysis, da-da-da. So what about number 4 then?
Well, I took this position to mean that this individual would have considerable judgment to work independently on the EMS side,
Mhm.
maybe not on the administrative side. How independent do you see this individual on EMS activities?
For me, there are days that this position would be, again, if I'm not in the office, the goal is that person makes decisions based on how I would make those decisions in the long run, but not make a decision without picking up the phone and having a conversation with me prior to.
But the likelihood that that person stepping in is your,
In your absence?
is not an
Rare.
ongoing standard of the position.
No.
It's an exception
It's
to
an
the.
exception to the.
It's a one-off.
Yep, it's a runoff, yep.
Okay.
I'm looking at a 3 myself on this, the more I read the
Mhm.
different ones, I'm thinking it's a 3 myself, so.
How often are you not in the office? Like 20% you are in the
I'm there
office?
7 days a week. I'm there 7 days a week.
You're in the
I'm supposed
office?
Yes, I am. I'm supposed to work 8 to 4, Monday through Fridays. As I was just telling the group before you got here, I'm gonna go home after this and go back to bed. I was on a 72, the other day with all the storms. I did the overnight shifts to give extra help to the guys and the girls. So I put a lot of time and effort into this position. So
No
there are.
question,
What's that?
no question.
Yeah.
It's
so-
impressive that you stayed awake during this meeting.
But the
yeah,
likelihood that
so-
he's unreachable and this person is stepping into that role is very infrequent.
It's very infrequent.
Okay,
Vacation.
that was my,
Okay, yeah, it's very
Okay.
infrequent.
PTO coverage,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So very infrequent, and even when I am not here,
we're here.
I do carry the phone, even though Tracy tells me not to. And so I also give everybody that needs it, the bat phone, I call it the bat phone, my private, so they can get me if I'm, somewhere else.
I don't think it goes past a 3.
Yeah, I think
I
it's, I
agree.
think it's a 3, to be honest with you.
I've got a 3 circle.
Let's vote.
3.
3.
Good, 3.
3.
3.
Finally, accountability. In every position, there inherently exists the possibility of error, whether it's through omission, commission, or direction. In rating this factor, consider the following: likelihood of errors, possibility of error detection, the probable effect of errors based on the degree to which the work is checked, either by procedures themselves, by supervision, or by succeeding operations. Result of errors can be measured in the damage to building and equipment, labor and material costs, jeopardy to the municipality's programs, monetary loss, personal injury, danger to the public, etc. Thoughts?
Accountability. That's a lot of words right there.
Yeah. Well, this is the broadest of our
Yeah.
factors.
I'd start with a 4.
I don't like that errors in judgment or techniques would probably be difficult to detect. I don't like that sentence. You know, I mean, I think that if there was an error in judgment or technique for this position, it could be harmful,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So I started at 4, but then I was reading up from there. I'm not sure, you know, we don't really go into 5s and 6s and 7s
No, the
very
5, 6,
often.
and 7s are mine, they're my responsibility.
Yeah.
So
5, 6, and 7?
I would say those are all, you know,
Let's read 4.
yeah.
4 is responsible for the accuracy, thoroughness, timely, and cost-effective completion of individual and group work, must coordinate work products or projects with other individuals or teams. The nature of the works could be specialized technical procedures, extensive analysis, means that errors in judgment or technique would probably be difficult to detect.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's kind of,
Potential consequences may result in excessive costs, purchasing of unsuitable equipment, material. That's where I was thinking that it was a 4, that if this person is,
Well, Lynn, you just made me think, this one suggests no supervision. So he's not executing the purchase of equipment, and if he screws up with the purchase, it's costing the town money, or
That's me.
that's gonna be him, yeah.
That's me.
Now that it's read out loud.
Now that you read it, right, I agree. Now that you read
Result in,
it,
So anything
you know,
this
potential
individual-
consequences may result in excessive cost. If anything that has to do with spending money, whether it's payroll or procurement,
it's
goes
his
to
Falls on
him
me.
first,
Falls
that's
on me.
him.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's read 3.
What about on the EMS side on, on call?
it still falls on me in the long run.
Mm.
It still falls
Okay.
on me in the long run. Yeah.
Okay, so that may not rise to a 4 then.
Okay.
Let's read 3 again. Responsible for independently producing accurate work, coordinate work product with others, meet deadlines, assist others in job completion.
Yes.
Most work is not independently verified, checked, or involve operations of large, complex, potentially dangerous equipment, increasing the scope and magnitude of errors. Potential consequences include monetary losses due to delays in processing information, waste or individual or group time and materials, damage to buildings and equipment, minor personal
I think it's a
personal
3.
I
injuries.
think it's a 3.
Does it
Yeah.
rise to that?
3.
I do, yeah, if he doesn't follow up on timely things that are given, you know what I mean, then that could result in those things, as exactly worded by
So
that.
you
This
sort
is
of-
a pretty
it's a
responsible
3.
position, isn't it?
It is.
Other thoughts?
3 is.
Vote. Diane?
I have 3.
3?
3.
3.
Yep.
So,
That is our factors.
so what we typically do from here is we tally the points under our new system. There's a sheet, it's the last page in the second section. I don't know if you guys have this or not.
Yep.
But it's basically the score range.
Yep.
So this lands as 376 points.
We've already done it.
Okay, I'm a math whiz, which puts it at a 17.
$17 an hour?
Nope, 17, as a.
Grade- grade
as a
seven.
grade-
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
grade
Let's go back to
17.
number 1.
Yeah.
So,
Grade 17 on a scale of 1 to 24.
Okay.
This is rated as a 17.
Yeah.
Pat, take one of these and pass it down. So this is our new 2026 list of classifications and grade ranges.
Okay.
So what we do, Chief, at the end is we look, okay, and this isn't an exact science.
Sure.
But we look and say, okay, who are the 17s
Okay.
in this municipality?
Okay.
And does it feel right? Does it seem proper that this individual is
A grade
grouped
17.
with this, and again, there's gonna be higher, there's gonna be lower, but does it feel right? You know, in this particular case, the assistant director of the COA, assistant library director, assistant town accountant, assistant town planner, assistant treasurer collector, deputy harbor master, electrical inspector, executive, so forth and so on.
Gotcha.
Fire mechanic. It-
Plumbing and gas inspector.
And I will point out that it is 1 grade higher than a 16, which includes our firefighter EMT basics and firefighter paramedic. So it would be 1 level above, 1 grade above a firefighter, full-time paramedic, EMT basic.
Gotcha.
How does that sit with you?
Are those the people he's supervising?
Well, is he supervising or is he,
Well, yeah.
He could be.
yeah,
He could be. Yep, he could be. Or they could be, they keep saying he, but they could be, yep.
But I think when you look at it to the assistant COA director, the assistant library director, when you look at the people who are in that
They
category,
are second in charge of,
they're, you know what I mean?
They're next in line.
Especially if your goal ends up being having 2 deputies, one in charge of
Correct.
EMS, one in charge of
And
fire.
that's the way I'm looking at it in my mind.
Yeah.
That eventually down the line,
Yeah.
you know, whether it's 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that I would have,
Yeah,
you know, 2 positions as deputies,
Yep.
you know.
and it fell, at 376, it fell squarely in the range, it wasn't on the cusp either way.
Yeah.
It was a solid 17.
because you even look at 16, you've got admin assistant inspectional services. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big job.
Right, that's a 16.
That's what I mean.
Administrative assistant to the police, and you would think that this has a little bit more to it than
This,
that.
this has more teeth to it than that.
I think it
Feels
seems reasonable.
Yeah,
Again, inexact science, chief.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, understood.
Especially with such disparate departments.
yeah.
How do
Let
you-
me
you know,
ask a
how do you-
question.
how do you-
So the deputy chief of police
Mhm.
is a higher
Yes.
grade.
Yeah,
Responsibilities much different?
much different. No, significantly
It's
different.
also a
Okay.
full-time position.
It's a
That's
full-time
the other
position
difference.
and
That's
it's
the big difference
significantly
there.
different, yeah.
Okay.
We have more full-time, you know what I mean, employees.
How many employees do you have?
So we have, for the police side of things, we have 12 full-time sworn, plus part-timers.
So 12
And then
is
we have the
17.
communications center as well.
That's the pay.
Yeah, so these guys have 52 or
With
41?
with part-time, but
Just
these,
call.
I have,
Positions to do
mine are
with
working,
this.
24/7, they're not just on call. I only have 3 part-timers.
He
Okay.
may or
For
may
police.
not know that.
49
This
of the,
hasn't been rated in a
Oh,
while.
yeah,
the vast
I don't
majority
know
of those
where,
52 are
like-
call firefighters.
Call, so
Okay.
some you might not see
That could be
some
just a-
more than 3
That one
times
is
in a year.
probably rated
Okay.
higher.
Yeah.
I typically have, if you look at my payroll, I typically have 30 on my payroll
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
Everybody, I have 30 that are there
Yeah.
pretty much every payroll.
yeah, we have.
And then I
police.
have, as the chief said, I may have one, my per diem medics, I might have 4 of my per diem medics that might work twice a month, because
Yeah.
they work full-time for other fire departments, or for full-time EMS,
Well-
ambulance services.
This,
But I have to worry about 52 people I
Yeah.
mean, 49 people every day.
Yeah,
It sits squarely, as Diane said, in the middle of the 17 range, so it seems,
You know.
it's not like we were right on the cusp of an 18.
No, forget it.
So I think we've been
Yeah.
true to the, to the methodology and true to the population in terms of where it's
Sure.
So, and as you said a couple times now, should it evolve such that you need to come back and talk about different or additional or, substantially changed responsibilities, we can always take a second look at it.
Sure.
Clear?
Okay.
Other thoughts? Chief, you good? Okay, hearing none,
Follow the process.
accept the motion to adjourn.
Um,
Or motion, second,
I have a question. So when we advertise this job, are we gonna do the range of a 17 for the
That's a-
wages?
That's a question for the town, between the fire chief and the town administrator, how they draft the posting or the job.
Okay, so this would be the range though?
Yep.
Yeah.
Based on
That's the range.
experience, the whole thing?
yeah.
They would commit. Okay, all right, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, yeah, the pay would have to be within that range.
Okay.
I make a
All
motion, we
right.
adjourn?
Second, second, all
Thank
in
you for your
favor,
time.
say aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
I lied.
Thank
Thank you.